Hello, I think we are now live. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. Yes, have you been having a good week? How's everyone's having that? Has anyone been having a good week? How have I found the energies this week? Interesting. I talked about it in the energy update about sometimes you get that anxiety sort of feeling. And I can feel the energy constantly. It does play on the heart a bit, and it gives us that sort of butterfly feeling. I don't know if that's makes sense to you, but you get this sort of butterfly feeling where, and it's close. It's the funny thing for me personally. It feels like it's close to like love, and then at the same time you kind of think, oh no, maybe that's just anxiety. And that's the thing, that's the problem with anxiety. It's so close between one thing and another, and it doesn't take much of a flip of a coin to push some people over the edge. But anyway, I wasn't pushed over the edge this week. It's been it's been okay. It's been okay. Things I've been enjoying myself as much as possible, as it were. Hope you have. So I'm on my travels at the moment, so hence a little bit of a change of the studio around me. So we're going to be talking about the AKASHIC libraries, reincarnation, that sort of thing, because in the energy update, when got a message from the portal that is now fully sort of open and functioning by the looks of things in the centre of the earth. With that, I tried to explain it at the time, but it seemed like, it's like a galaxy in the middle of like a sphere, and it's like there's a walking gallery around it, and there seems to be like tablets that go around it, as it were, and people are looking at the tablets and stuff like that. It all seemed really interesting. It's very similar to what I picture, or I when I visit the Akashic Library, it's very similar to that. And I got this sensation that what's happening at this present time, and it's going to take some time to do, it's like there's a distilling aspect going on to the Akashic libraries, and that distilling factor, I think, has been going for some time. I think certain groups of people or certain learnings from different parts of the world have moved on, and they've taken their part of their library with them, and it pertains to a very much older culture of the human race. We're talking hundreds of thousands of years old in the way of the culture's wealth or depth. And so that's part of the library that's gone, and it's sort of making way for a new type of a new understanding because we're living in an age where we have technology and stuff like that, and it demands a certain different type of library. And we've seen the change. Well, we've seen the changes. I've seen the changes in my healing. I've been doing my healing now for, as I say, nigh on 30 years, and I used to see the karmic block, and there was a lot of people. There were some people still working on their karmic block, and then the younger generation started to come through in the early thousands. Excuse me, that's my tea. Wasn't me. In the early thousands, really, it was happening before that, but noticing on young people, the karmic block is no longer a block, it's more like a lava lamp, that sort of thing. So there has been this sort of distilling, and it seems to be like a karmic thing that's a lot more electrified than before. The old karmic block is like a block. It's like like a square block. Well, it's not. It's a rectangle or an oblong with 4 different sides. And the reason it's got 4 different sides is to understand the 4 different sides of the situation. So, we live different lives to understand the different sides of the same situation. And so that gives us a full understanding. And in each life, we fill out each shelf or each little book, if you like, from each side, from the 4 different sides. And that will give us our contribution to, like, the AKASHIC library of the full understanding of the human race. Excuse me a second, I am going to cough. Excuse me. And so it's a contribution to that. And that's what goes into the sort of library, the AKASHIC library. And the AKASHIC library is like, you have, each of us has like equivalent of a book where we carry all our lives by our side. And you can look at your past lives if you need to. I was talking to my daughter about this earlier on, actually, and she's sort of saying to me, wouldn't it be good to just remember? And this is a point of sort of reincarnation and stuff like that, and how the system works. The reason we do not remember is because fundamentally we should not be taking our traumas or prejudices from a previous life into the next life, because that's not learning. It's more sort of it's more sort of, I don't know, sort of homing, sort of streamlining it, one way of thinking. And this is it with the soul structure of how it goes on with the soul structure. We learn different things in different places around the world. So in the next life, I may just be a guide, and the person who, the spirits that's in the body, who is part of my soul, I'm the guide, but that person there could be a woman in Africa, for example. So we learn on different sides of the whole sort of thing. So the idea is not to bring forward traumas into this life. And through my healing, I hear people talking about sort of kind of the past life trauma and everything like that. I don't see that a lot. It's incredibly rare. It's like, for me personally, in my work, I'll be honest with you, it is incredibly rare. Over the 20,000 people I've seen through my work over the years, I wouldn't even say that I would have seen sort of 15 people with it, if that. It's incredibly rare. It's like people I see that are born on this planet that shouldn't have been born on this planet. Should have been born somewhere else. But that's incredibly rare as well. That's even rarer than the traumas that come in from past lives. And, I've done past life therapy with a very good friend of mine who's an incredibly good past life therapist. And I did, 4 or 5 sessions of being 2 or 3 hours, or 2 hours in the meditation. And it was phenomenal. The most important thing I took from my past life was being a seal, and I was eaten by a shark in the end, and I was sitting on the beach waiting for the shark to come out the water, and eventually the shark came out the water, and I said, why'd you eat me? Why'd you bite me like that? And the shark said, I was hungry. And you were just playing in the waves, and you weren't paying attention, and so I thought I'd have a little nibble, and fair play to him. And I was kind of, as the seal, I just kind of went, yeah, all right, okay, fine, fair play, yeah, I agree with that. So you know, and it's like when you get over the other side, there is no real emotions of carry through, as it were. And anyway, but it just taught me that whatever you're doing in life, you know, just enjoy it as much as you can. As horrific as of an accident life can be sometimes, you know, you're not alone. We're not alone. Everybody has those moments. But enjoying it is essential, because that's what you're going to take with you. That's what's going to keep you warm, waiting for the next life to come around. So, yeah, the Akashic Libraries. My first experience with the Akashic Libraries was when I had when I was 22, I had an accident, I had a near-death experience. I've explained it in a lot of other videos. I don't know if you've seen it, but I had this like near-death experience. I went up in the tunnel and what have you, and I got up to the top, and first things first, I'd noticed that it was just like pure white light. You know, everything was white light. You know, and I couldn't, and I was struggling to see visualize my body. I couldn't visualize it anymore. And the other thing I noticed is that there was no emotions either. Everything seemed to be at peace. And at one, it was really quite nice. And so I was, and they said to me, you know, and then someone turned up and said, "What are you doing here?" And I said, "Well, you know what I mean, down there it's not working anymore, I'm off." And they said to me, no, you've just started your work, you've got to get back down there. So I said, all right, okay. So I went back down, and on my way down, I remember asking sort of like, how does it work and stuff like that, you know. And I said, you know, I want to know how it works. If I'm going back down there, I want to know how it works. So they said to me, yeah, sure. You know, you can ask any question you like, and you will not be denied the truth. But be prepared to hear the truth. That's part of it. So, you know, I was only a young man, and I was kind of like, yeah, okay. You know, so when I first got myself, then I got back into my body, and then I spent 3 days in a coma and what have you, and then came out of the coma, and I was like, out of the accident, kind of like, oh, right, okay, and got myself back on my feet, and one of the first, I got back to asking the questions. So one of the first questions I asked was, you know, if I'm not going now, when am I going? And you know, when's my time? And you know, they sort of, you know, it turned around and it sort of said, it gave me 2 dates, and I've just been through one date, and I've got the other one that's quite a way off, so I'm not too worried about things. But it was the first lesson of using the Akashic Library, and that first lesson was, you've got to be precise about where, you know, asking your questions. Don't ask open-ended questions. And this is another thing, and I'm trying to do a video on this as well. You should never ask why. You know, because unfortunately the answer to the why is so big that you know, we have problems in understanding it. So you're better off asking lots of smaller questions, which elucidates gradually over time the why, and it's easier to see what the answer to your question. So you got to be really precise about it. How is there any questions, by the way? You're more than welcome to just jump in with any questions. I'm off travelling at the moment, so I'm not really sort of prepared. So I can see you're chatting. If anyone does do a chat, I don't think is it on? I can't see it at the moment. Let me actually. Maybe it is on. Maybe you have been leaving messages. But I haven't seen any. So, you know, yeah. Welcome all. Anyway, by the way, whoever's out there in YouTube land. Yeah, so, you know, how do I see the Akashic Library? The Akashic Library is like, it's sort of run by non-physical being spirits. It's the best way to describe them. Administrators, you know, really. And the reason they're non-physical is because they can't get involved with the judgment or emotional details and baggage that goes along with all of this. So they've got to be completely detached. You know, so when you go and ask a question, if your question is, say, like, I'd like to understand what, you know, life. Yeah, they're literally just going to get the Akashic Library and just dump it on your head. And, you know, you're not going to understand anything. And they understand that that's not really worth it. And they just kind of sort of say, well, come back with a question that's, you know, that we can give you, you know, sources so you can obtain an answer from. So if I was saying, like, I'd like to understand how an atom works, what happens is like, I'll go up there and I'll have part of Einstein's memory, and I might have Newton, and I might have, you know, and I might have Sitting Bull. You know, there's multitudes of ways of understanding how an atom works. And what they do is they sort of like, they stitch together an understanding between those three things that allows you to see it in a way that you understand. And you can see it within your mind's eye, but at the same time, it can be confirmed by the noises that you hear around you, or the temperatures or the colours that are around you, that back up that you're on the right answer. So it's not you know, there is moments of download. There is moments when you're sitting there and you just kind of go. I had one the other day actually, and it was about electrons and atoms, but the information just was a bit like a matrix sort of scenario, just like, you know, really download it, which was really interesting because it helped me to connect sort of a lot of things. But learning about to ask the right questions, and it's not closed off. You don't have to be a spiritual master and everything like that to have access to the Akashic Library. That's just, it's, you know, there's so, I've got to say this, there is so much spiritual snobbery in the world of spirituality and energy and stuff like that. And it's just like kind of, you know, just, you know, it's a library. Everyone's got a library card because you live in it. You're contributing to the library, so you have access to it. The thing is that, you know, you can't go up there and say, like, can you tell me what Jane is doing with Dave? You know, it's not those sort of things. It's got to be about self-learning. And so when you go up there, you've got to be, you know, really, really precise about how you ask your you know, your questions. I'm just going to check for seeing there's yeah, okay, so the comments is working. So if you do want to ask a question at any time, do please just jump in and ask, because you know, otherwise I'll be just whittering on for hours, but I don't mind. Yeah, so it sort of works like that. I've never met, you know, Michael guiding, you know, guarding the Akashic Library. It's not like that. You can't really get access to it until you're in a position where you are confident about asking the question. It's like about energy as well, that if you want to see energy will only show you what you're ready to see. Otherwise it can be incredibly confusing. You know, when I woke up, and I was sort of like, you know, 30 years ago or so, you know, and I was already seeing energy before that, but then, you know, it really just sort of like kicked off. It created a lot of confusion in my life because it just showed me too much, in a way. And so, you know, you've got to be right within you to ask the question that you want to ask. You know, you got to be. It's all to do with your own self evolution and understanding and learning and everything like that. So it's not like the internet. I wouldn't treat it like the internet. And you have your own knowledge within you as well as us as individuals. We all have our own knowledge within us, and you can glean a lot of information from yourself. So but anybody can use it. The Akashic Library. It's not sort of like it's not like a like a private members club sort of thing. So so anybody can use it. Just being really prepared about what you're going to ask, and sometimes, and not quite, well, I say sometimes, quite a lot of times actually, I think you'll be quite surprised by the answer. It's not always what you think. It's like this, above and below sort of scenario. As it is above, it is below, but it's also like a mirror, so you get the opposite, as it were, rather than the first, the direct sort of transfer, as it were. So, it's sometimes a little bit confusing. You just have to be ready to have the, to receive the answer. And then, and once you start, understanding how it works, you can almost, pre-construct your question, and you don't have to do a massive meditation and then to start using it. It's understanding the answer that is the biggest problem, usually, that most people find. And that is where I'm talking about, where there's part of it within your envision, but it's also how you feel across the physical body. It's also how, the trees are showing shapes to you and stuff like that. You've got to be very attentive to everything that's going on when you're downloading. And I think that's really important. It helps to see and get a greater sort of depth to the answer that you're getting with the Akashic Library. So, it becomes a lot easier as the more and more you use it. It becomes very user-friendly, let's say. Very, very user-friendly. So, and then you get the reincarnation factor, which is constantly learning. And as I say, there's been a change in the karmic block. And just to finish off that I started on earlier on, most people it's like we've come to the end of the year, the school year, and we've all passed our exams and what have you, but you're getting like it's coming to an end. It's the year of school year of 2025 or whatever it is, and I think this is a moment where truths are really sort of coming to the surface this year, because we're going into this big handover or change, as it were, even within the spiritual world as above, and even here and within the planet and within the solar system, within lots of different things. And I think this is all part and parcel of the changing karmic block as well, within the person. And the reincarnation, a lot of people may feel that this is their last reincarnation. And a lot of people, and the majority of people I see, are actually on karmic holiday. Now that's actually difficult to do. Anybody who's been working a long time, for 30, 40 years, and has made their way to the retirement age, there's a lot of people that find it difficult to stop that whole working aspect. And it's difficult to make the switch over to enjoying life. And that switch, it is difficult for people to do, because we all like a reason to be living. And there is a multitude of reasons to be living. It's more of a case of just go ahead and live what you can perceive to be the best example of yourself. And I'm sure that will be accompanied by a lot of happiness and a lot of joy, and it will feel like you're on a bit of a holiday. So, you can You know, you can, you can, you can take a lot of pressure off yourself, you know, about all of that, you know, in regards to what should I be doing. You may feel like that, yeah, this is what I want to do, and then therefore I would really follow that. Excuse me. So, yeah. And that's what it feels like, what the centre of the earth was doing. It felt a little bit like the Akashic Library was condensing all the understanding of the human species into certain tablets that gave us pinnacle learnings and understandings. Maybe I can, excuse me, I do apologise. Maybe I could translate every single tablet that I got on there. That'd be quite a big deal, but it'd be worthwhile having a go. It's the sort of thing you start doing when you start working with energy. There's nothing like playing around and exploring things. Ooh. Excuse me. Oh, blimey. Could be this this place I'm staying in at the moment. Maybe it's a heating system with a bit of dust in it. But it seems to be a bit of a tickler on the old throat. So the Akashic Libraries, and the Akashic Libraries, the main Akashic Libraries, you get understandings from different cultures. So you have like you can have like a Sumerian section, and you can have like a North American Indian selection, or you know, it's because we look at life in a different way. We have different attributes across the globe. And luckily we do, because life would be so boring if there was only one point of view, you know. So, and you know, certain cultures can approach a certain situation in a completely different way that other cultures don't, and that's the beauty of the human race, because we are so diverse. That's the great thing about us. But we all come from the same family. We're all part of the same family. And there's more than one way to peel a banana. There's more than one way to peel a banana. And it's the reason there's more than one way is because that's how different cultures sort of, you know, express and learn and everything like that through life. So, and it's always good to get, you know, refreshing different points of view. That's what I was talking earlier on about the atom and so forth, you know. I might have Einstein, but I might have Sitting Bull as well, because Sitting Bull will give me the idea of the atom and its place in the world and the nature, maybe, you know, for example. So, you know, it's just as well. We have multitudes of different sort of cultures. So within the library, you get a particular way of looking at things, because if you want to, you know, understand what the Mayans were all about, for example, you'd have to go in and read the Mayan, you know, library, you know. So, you know, it's split into that sort of thing, you know. Although as I say, you go there and you ask a question, you know. I've been given a tour of the library, but I'm not working in the library. I leave that there to the people who, or to the spirits, or to the energies, the entities that are, you know, they know what they're doing, because they're administrators. That's what they do. You know, it's like if you go to Jupiter, you're going to get different types of spirits and stuff like that than you will do on Earth, you know. And that's the other beauty about the solar system. It's so diverse as well. And that's what plays into the Akashic Libraries as well. There's a multitude of different things. And just remember that we're just each and every single one of us are just a small cog in a great big thing. And but the great big thing can't do without every single little cog. So, just play your part and do your role and do your bit and, explore and expand and experience more than anything else. I think that's the main thing about the whole sort of learning process, or the contribution that we can make to the library. The more we experience, the more the library becomes developed and the more the library becomes conscious. And you can download that consciousness within you. So that means as well, there's certain things in life that you just kind of look at and you just kind of go, don't even need to entertain that idea, because I know it, and it's nothing to do. I don't need to learn it. So you can allow yourself. You can get rid of a lot of. You can let go of a lot of woes and worries, or thinking about things. So it helps you to concentrate on what you should be engaged in life. And for the majority of us, for a lot of us, it is about enjoying being the best example of ourselves, enjoying life and living it fully. It's all part and parcel of it. It's absolutely fantastic. Is there any questions? There doesn't seem to be any questions. No questions at all. Everything's pretty straightforward for you. Maybe it'd be good to sort of. I did take a tablet last time, and I took a message from it, but didn't actually didn't see him from last time. I'm just trying to pull something up on my computer now, because I can't see any of the comments, and I'm not sure whether there's any. There is loads of comments. Why have they not been coming through? I've just turned on the other thing, so let me say some hellos here, because I haven't said any hellos. Is that Lynn? Hi, Lynn. Glenn, how you doing? Glenn, love your comments. Andy, how you doing? Keep the tennis going, man. Nuckham, is that Nuckham? Internet's back. My internet's back. Oh, that's it's Kim, isn't it? Yes, hi Kim, how you doing? Great, you got your internet back. The unexpected channeler. Hello, how you doing? Oh, this is great. I'm getting to see everyone. Oh, this is fine. This is so nice. Glenn, so you've got, is there a question there? Let me just try and blow it up so I can actually see what's going on. So Glenn, hi Tom, we're all spirit, but accessing the Akashic Library is a right, not a privilege. Okay, I'm still learning about life, but happy to be in this life. That's fantastic, Glenn, mate. And I'll tell you what as well, yeah, it is a right, because, why would you contribute something that you can't use? Just seems really sort of like, seems stupid to me, Turmeric tea. I'm on my builder's tea, Glenn, thank you very much. Lynn, really put things into perspective, having that understanding. Certainly does. Stops you messing about. Stops you messing about enormously, really. Let me just see what's... there's another one. Is that Gray? Is that? Hello, Gray. How you doing? Hang on a second. Let me just try and bring it all up so I can see it. Sorry. Turmeric tea. So, Lynn, yeah, really puts things in perfection and understanding. Yeah. Is that Graham? I hope I'm pronouncing it right. When you consult tarot, are you accessing the Akashic records? Whew. I get glimpses. I get sort of like. No, I wouldn't say no. I wouldn't say. Because Akashic, as I said, the Akashic Library, you've got to be really precise when you're asking the question. And when I'm doing the tarots that I do every week, I do it in accordance to energy. So basically, how do you engage with the energy that is going on? That's how I do the tarots, really, more than anything else. Simply because, I have to have a personal perspective on the point of view. Do I access the Akashic Libraries for people if they ask me to do it? I have a little problem with that it's I think this is where I think you've got to access it yourself as well, really importantly. Cool. So yeah, yes. So do I access the Akashic libraries? No, I channel a lot. And it's like energies sort of kind of going, this side of Scorpio or Libra or whatever sign, and it's like sort of saying to me, this is the main interaction with the energy, and this is the message you need to bring through. I guess that's the best way of sort of the way in which to do it. Kim, hi Tom. If my loved ones have been reincarnated, who will meet me when I pass? Well, okay, that's a really good question, Kim. Coral, love life. Life is a constant learning experience. Certainly is. Lovely to see you, by the way, Coral. Thanking you very much for all the beautiful comments over the years. That's a really good one. Okay, so this is where we get into the idea of spirits, right, Kim? Right? Now, I see spirits in two ways. I see, firstly, spirits where it's like a light body, sort of, you don't get that much in the way of I don't get that much in the way of details. I only get detail on their face and stuff like that. And sometimes they can stand off. So they're standing off, and that's more like a spirit that's gone over, as it were. Yeah. And then there's other spirits that when I'm doing my healing and stuff like that literally just come out of the face of the person, and they're literally just sitting in front of me. And they're people who haven't made it across to the other side, as it were. So what happens is, when you go across, you discharge your life, this life you're living at the moment, and the people you see and the people you interact, you're interacting with the memory of the spirit that lived that life. But now that spirit can go on, it can move on to elsewhere, but still leave that memory back there. So we often see the memory of the people that lived, because you can't have a new experience with them once they've gone to the other side, because they've got to be reincarnated like everybody, and so that's how I sort of see it. Really, it's really, you're speaking to the memory of the person rather than actually the spirit itself. How do we access the Akashic library? Okay, access to the Akashic library is like, as I said, everybody. I think Glenn said it right there. I think everybody's got a right to access the Akashic library. There's nothing stopping you from doing it. The thing is, for what reason? That's, if it's just for curiosity, what I mean? As I said, it's not the internet. The Akashic library is kind of going, don't mess around, man. This is, if you want to learn something, then you can learn it. And so once you've got that reason, if you've really got a reason to learn something for yourself, about something, that's when I would start on some form of meditation and so forth. But as I said, you've got to understand the answer, and understanding the answer is understanding you. If you can sit there like I'm talking to at the moment, but I'm getting a message from under my big toenail at the moment. So this is what dimensional sort of being in various dimensions at the same time. Once you can start doing stuff like that, that's when you can really get access to something that is far greater than just yourself. And that's when you can understand the answer, because they may be telling you the answer, but you may not be, you may not have learnt for yourself how to listen to the answer. So it can be quite difficult. That's the most difficult part, is not necessarily asking the question, it's hearing the answer. That's the most difficult part. And as I say, I think you need to involve everything in it. Inner vision, outer vision, outer audio, inner audio, outer sensation, inner sensation, chakras, the whole shooting match. Just take time, and it will come. Don't just rely, and this is where most people go wrong. They rely just upon that inner voice, right? And usually it's just that mental up there just kind of going and that's why I use loads of different things, because one thing has to confirm the other. So you increase the level of clarity of the answering. You get the increase of clarity of the answer, rather than just relying upon, because sometimes you can just tell you things. I could probably convince myself loads of things, and I have done, like everybody, But so, I think that's asking is not the problem. You can ask what you like, but as I said, if your question is too open-ended, you will find it difficult to hear the answer. The tighter you make, so let me try and give an example. Okay, so let's just say I was trying to channel the life of Jesus, right? For example, he's the only. That's the only spirit I haven't been able to speak to and see yet, which has been quite funny. I don't know why. It's a very interesting point of view. But anyway, let's just say, if I was to ask a question, I sort of say, did he live in Israel, for example, or what we call Israel now? And the AKASHIC libraries are saying yes, no. Okay. Did he, did he live uniquely in that area? No. Okay. So, did he live to the east or the west? So you start off with, did he live to the west? No. He lived to the east. And before you know it, you can pinpoint it down. And once you start kind of almost, you get precursors to it, and then you can then start really, opening up to getting a lot of the answers, very, very precisely, So sounds like intention is key. Lynn, yeah, totally. Intention is totally key. It's your raison d'etre, if that makes sense. It's the reason, it's the reason we do everything. And then, are you sensing a change in the collective awareness at the moment? A massive, massive change, Lynn. It's all part and parcel of the pole shift. It's all part and parcel of the changing of the generations of the spirits who learn in this planet. Because existences, and we're not the only planet like this in the universe. It'd be stupid to think we are. You know what I mean? Otherwise, we'd surely be a problem rather than an actual solution. And I think that's not true. So I think I sort of know that that's not true. But yeah. So it's like a changing of, it's like leaving your college. You're the last year in your college in your year of 2025. So we're getting this change going on, and it is as you're coming to the end of something, that's when you start getting that realization of kind of like, wow, this is it's all seems to be coming together like in a birds of a feather in a way. So yeah, I think there's a massive change in consciousness going on. a really big change in consciousness. But there's a multitude of reasons behind that. It's not just like it's not just one thing. There's a multitude of things. Hang on a second. I've just got to sort my. Oh, here we go. I'm just trying to get the comments up so I can see them. Can you ask about the future, or is it only about the past? Okay, yeah. That's Gray. Am I saying your name right, by the way? I hope so. Can you look at the future? Well, if you think of the future, it's a little bit like the quantum mechanics, and I'm trying to put together a video on the quantum mechanics because obviously everyone thinks that, the wall doesn't really exist and it's only a figment of my own creation, and that's not necessarily true. Try telling that to the person who built the wall. And it's a case of it's like you can narrow down the possibilities of a future. I am saying it right. Thanks. Excellent. Thank you very much. Great. Like it. Yeah, so I think what you can do is you can narrow it down. And as you can narrow it down by sort of like seeing, I've forgotten who said it, but someone said if you know your past, you know your future, sort of thing. And there is this evolutionary sort of step that we're going through. And yes, you can presume to a certain extent, but it's predicting the actual future is, you get ballpark figures. It's like I do it on earthquakes, and you can get areas where you think the earthquakes are going to sort of happen and stuff like that. And you can get a future out of the past because there's an evolutionary process going on, and you can see that evolutionary process, and you can almost see how it should be finishing. So in theory, this is where we should be going. It should be a natural progress or process that we are going through, and that's, as a collectively, that's where you can sort of predict the future in that sort of sense. And the same thing as well, that it's got to feel right in every area. Don't convince, it's very easy to convince oneself that this is going to be the future. But once you start relying upon a multitudes of answers having to be the same, therefore you increase, as I said earlier on, the likelihood of your intuition being correct. Now, I wrote a book called The Event that you can get on Amazon. I first wrote it sort of like time is going past, 27 years ago. And it was all about the future, and it was around about this, it was talking about this time. And, over the last 27 years or 25 years or whatever it is, I've been gradually ticking off the things that I was saying in the book. And it's quite phenomenal, really. So, can you predict the future? Yeah, but you need to have a great deal of realism, I think, about life. You can't be just wondering. You can't. You need to be real about it. There's no point. Being illusionary about it all. So yeah. Wow, I wish I'd got to these comments earlier on. It would have been on my. I was watching it through another software, and normally it shows my comments, and I can comment through it, obviously, because it came up my comments saying hi all. But now I can see them all. It's been quite nice. It's been really good. We had some really good questions. Absolutely brilliant questions. This is what I mean about sort of like, we are the solution. I have multitudes of things that I've been working on for multitudes of time, but until it's being confirmed by everybody else or discussed, that I can discuss it with someone, so then, you get lots of different points of view, so it helps it's like a block of clay that you've got, that you vaguely got some sort of shape with it, and as everybody gives their point of view, all of a sudden, kind of go, wow, look at that beautiful statue. So it's don't ever be afraid to ask questions. And don't ever be afraid of getting it wrong, because we all get it wrong. And just be afraid that you never ask the question, I guess, really. So, yeah. What else can I say about the Akashic Library? Where is it? That's what I've got, And I'm talking about physically here. Where is it? Is it on another dimension? Well, it is, because it works on a different type of electricity. Like, for example, we have 3 cones in our eyes for actually seeing colours. Yeah. The Chinese have a saying, Tom. Yeah, what is it, Glenn? What's the saying, my friend? We have 3 cones. Get back to that. We have 3 cones, so we can see a certain amount of colours, but we can't actually see fuchsia, pink. We make that colour up within our own mind's eye. So, and I think there's certain types of shrimp or lobsters who have 16 cones, so they can see a multitude of colours that we would never even be able to imagine. And that's what the Akashic Library is like. It's like it is another dimension. Yes, I agree, but it's held within as far as I can tell, it's held within the sun. It's within the centre of the sun. When you go and visit the centre of the sun through meditation, which I do, I go and visit the centre of the earth a lot, and then from the centre of the earth you can go to the sun, and from the sun you can go to another planet, or you can go elsewhere. It's like a tube, it's like a metro system, underground system. It's pretty much what it is. And so when you go to the sun, you've got that's where you've got the thingy. And it's quite interesting to see that part of the Akashic Library on that earth portal. That's why I was finding it really interesting. Because it's as if like part of it was all coming home, as it were, So what's the Chinese saying, Glenn? The Chinese have a saying, Tom. What is it? What's that saying then, Glenn? Yeah. Have you ever read that? Okay, here it comes. Okay, hang on a second. What does it say? Oh, look, hang on a second. He who asks, hang on a second. I can't see it. He who asks a question is a fool for 5 minutes. The one who doesn't ask a question is a fool for life. Yeah, totally get that. Have you ever? This would be interesting. It might be one of your distant relatives here, Glenn. Have you ever read a book called the Tao of Pooh, as in Winnie the Pooh, as in Pooh Bear, by a gentleman called Benjamin Hoff? Yeah, well said, Glenn. Exactly, Carol. Yeah, totally well said. Called Benjamin Hoff, and it's a fantastic little pocketbook. And I haven't, I'm not the biggest reader in the world. I've got to be honest with you, but it's one of the books that I've read, and it taught me in that book, through that book, and it's a Taoism. So and I got very heavily into Taoism. Like I've read most of the religious books as well and stuff like that, just as a point of interest, It taught me, more than anything else, it taught me that good and bad doesn't really exist. It only exists in the material human world, and the rest of it doesn't really exist. So, Glenn Hoff, yeah, Tao Pooh, yeah, as in Pooh Bear, yeah. Fantastic book, Glenn, go and see it. Coral, yeah, we're good, yeah, Glenn, so true, yeah. I always tell my kids, if you don't ask, the answer is always no. I like that. That's a little bit like my mum and dad used to sort of say, or my mum in particular, she used to say to us, if you can't be careful, if you can't be good, be careful. That sort of thing. But yeah, I like that idea of sort of saying, If you don't want to ask, then yeah, the answer's probably no. And that's what I mean about going to the library as well. Very much in that line, Lynn. You know, it's sort of like, if you're not prepared to get the answer, then don't ask the question. You know, because sometimes you'll be shocked by what the question is. It's not very PC, you know, some of the times. So, but I like the idea of not being a fool for life. I love being a fool, though, in the way of the fool card. I like going into something and learning about something and kind of go, right, I don't know nothing about this, let's learn about that. And, you know, I will ask stupid questions, but there is a point to my questions, you know. So, yeah, I totally get it. But the Dower of Pooh by a gentleman called Benjamin Hoff. That's why he could be part of your family. Benjamin Hoff, absolutely brilliant book. You know, you can read it with your kids and they'll find it absolutely amazing. You can read it and you'll find it very, very profound. You know, it's a really, really good book. So, yeah. Yeah, I've been going for about an hour, haven't I? I've been told off for going on too long sometimes, so I do apologise about that if I'm whittering on. Yeah, a bit of housekeeping here. You know, YouTube, as lovely as they are, YouTube, they you know, I get all my views knocked off my lives. I don't know if this is normal, but they usually knock off 80% of them. So I tend to, after this live is done, I tend to then upload a video version of it. So if you ever want to go back and listen to this again, you'll find it in the video section. You know, you won't find it in the lives because they don't get counted. So, you know, and YouTube certainly doesn't help anyway. So, you know what I mean? I'm just trying to sort of like keep it much more accessible and accessible for everyone, really. So I just thought I'd tell you that. So if you do see it pop up on the videos and you've seen it already, or you've been on part of the live, you'll know it. You should get the live comments back as well at the same time. So, you know, which is really good. Yes. Have you got any questions? Any other questions about, could be about anything really. Could be about the readings that we had this week. Very interesting, the readings this week that went past for this week. A lot of it is very concerned with the karmic path, getting things on the go, as it were. It was really, I think most signs had that sort of like conversion of idea into reality. And, you know, and I noticed the tower coming back in quite a few readings. That was really interesting. A lot of 5s and 7s, which is all about a transition and revelation. There was a lot of that. What else was there? There was another card that was quite a lot of that. I'll come back to pages as well. Yeah, but interesting readings this week as well. Interesting readings. So, yes. Obviously, thanking you very much for all being here. Lovely. Thank you for all your questions. It's great to be able to see the chats at the same time. It's lovely to hear from you and speak to you and have, you know, I sort of, you know, I want to do these lives via Zoom in the future, you know, where we can see each other. We can have a general chit chat about it all. You know, but I've got to organise that. It's a little bit complicated to organise it, but, you know, we get there. Want to say thank you for the Capricorn readings. Excellent. Oh yeah, man, they've been very, as a Capricorn myself, you know, it's and I obviously I don't read for myself. That'd be way too dangerous and stupid of me to do that. But yeah, Capricorns, man, Capricorns. You know, because you've had Pluto in your sign and everybody's gone through the fact that Pluto's been in Capricorn, you know, and we're all going to go through Pluto in Aquarius, which I think is going to be a massive eye-opening. But because Capricorns have been through the ringer for the last sort of 15, 20 years, it's going to be like a stroll in the park for the Capricorns in the beginning part. for the next 2 or 3 years, I think it's going to be a lot, well, or Capricorn's going to find it a lot easier. So it's been really enjoyable seeing Capricorns just kind of going, opening up. It's been really, really nice, you know. Hi Lynn, I love the Capricorn readings too. That's good. You've been sending them as well, Glenn, have you? Yeah, it's cool. Yeah. What's that one from Court? Hang on a second. A zoom would be. Hang on a second. A zoom would be. No, I can't see it. Let me just. There it is. A zoom would be easier to voice than type. Yeah, I know. I've got to organise it all. I've got a possibility to do that. You know, and then if you don't mind, if no one minds, you know, I would put it on YouTube because I think it's good for everybody to see it and listen, and because I think I'm helping. I think we're helping. Yeah, I think we can help. You know, with a good Zoom and a chat. You know, I think it'd be good, helpful for other people to see it. So, you know, obviously if you don't want to be on YouTube, you know what I mean, I can easily sort of, you know, black out the little bit of the screen and stuff like that. Or you can in the Zoom, you know. What was that? After that, yeah. Well, Glenn's giving you hope, or I'm giving you hope. I think, you know what I mean, at the end of the day, you know, I'm not a big fan of hope. That's why they put hope in Pandora's box. You know, just go through it. We went through it, fine. Now we're out the other side. And Aquarius is bringing home the... Aquarius, what's Aquarius? Aquarius is the water bearer, isn't it? It's John the Baptist. We are going through a baptizing phase, and that's what... Who was it? Was it Gray? You were talking, asking about is there an evolution? Was it you, Gray, that talking about that? I think it was. You know, is there an evolution or change in the human consciousness, or was it you, Lynn? I can't quite see. Well, someone was asking about it anyway, and that's all part of Aquarius. I think we're going through this baptism that is revealing the truth. That's what the energy's doing at the moment, and it's unveiling it like an onion. That's how it seems to be. Over the past, 30 odd years that I've been consciously dowsing and playing with energies and seeing energies and stuff like that, and I was really quite young. It was Lynn, was it, Gray? Thanks. Say thanks, Lynn. Yeah, but when I was quite young, obviously, you know what I mean. I was just a little. I was a young man, wasn't I? You know, with all the testosterone in the world to go out there. But I thought, obviously, I thought, it was unveiling the onion of my life and now, with 30 years under the belt of doing it all and living it, it's now looking back and kind of going, actually, it was revealing a lot more way much more than just me. It was revealing more about the human evolution and everything. I've been very interested in the human consciousness, collective consciousness. And there's a big misunderstanding about the collective consciousness that we should all think the same. And it's not we should all think the same. It's just that we should have a common sense idea about life. Because thinking the same is a really bad thing. You know what I mean? It's not good. It'd be very boring. You would only have to ever live one life. You know, it didn't matter where you were or where you're from. You know, it'd all be very sort of very boring. So, the consciousness, the one consciousness is getting behind an idea of sort of saying, I want us to be spiritual or energy masters collectively, individually and collectively. And that's all part of that. It's working to a project in a way, but without being like behind one flag, as it were. Do you know what I mean? It's, you know, you're there. You're not having to be told. You know, you feel, you can. The energy is telling you right. So you know, it's that one consciousness is more of an understanding than anything else. And once you get to a certain understanding, then therefore we can access other aspects of energy and so forth. So, you know, that's another aspect of it all. Right, I'm going on longer than I should be, I think. We could be here for days. It'd be great to have like a, you know, a place where we can all sit around the log fire in the garden, chatting, looking at the stars and working it all out and putting the world to rights. It's always good fun. But there you go. Yes, so thanking you very much for being part of it. Obviously, without you lot, then, you know, without any of us, we're nothing. So thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for the great questions as well and the interaction. I hope it sort of helps for you to see things sort of like from another perspective. I hope it helps you get clarity on your vision of things and this whole sort of thing. So, you know, and if you want to share the video, if you know, it's absolutely brilliant. That really helps out as well. And it's just also, you know, any other way through the YouTube system, just sort of showing your appreciation, helps the YouTube system to sort of like buck their ideas up. Thank you, Coral. Thank you, Glenn. Thank you, Gray, Lynn. Lovely to see you all. Yes, thank you, or Chakra Visions as well. Kim, lovely to see you. Lynn, don't talk log fires with these heat waves on. Are you down south? Are you in the south? Are you in the heat wave? Are you? Thanks for it all. Yeah, okay. No, it's a nice log fire in the evening. You know, I'll just be careful about how you burn things. Okay, well, look, love to you all. Take care. I will still see you soon, and we'll try and get the Zoom thing sorted in the future. Okay, but in the meantime, I'm going to do this every Sunday, and we can talk about anything. I just pick a topic anyway. We'll talk about that, but you know, we can talk about anything. Be absolutely lovely to see. Message Daydream, thank you. Message, was it Moon Age? Hang on a second, I can't quite see it. Moon Age Daydream, yeah. Well, lovely to see you, Moon Age Daydream. Thank you very much for being there. Absolutely beautiful. Glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, really enjoyed the live. That's excellent. Clem, be lovely to see you all again soon. You know, if I don't see you on the readings, I'll see you on the energy updates. I'm going to keep them separate, keep the messages from the earth and everything like that, keep them a little bit sort of separate and stuff like that. But yeah, it should be good. It should be enjoyable. I will see you soon. In the meantime, don't forget, life should be fun. It should be. I know it can be difficult sometimes, but don't forget to laugh. Don't forget to enjoy it, because those are the things that you're going to be taking with you. I'll see you soon. All the best to you. In the meantime, don't forget, life should be fun. Take care.